Keshav, thank you so much for speaking to us today. Obviously, a bit disappointed about yesterday's loss. Not ideal, but tell us how you assess the wicket from your point of view.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, not ideal, but I do think the wicket got better, and we had some decent conditions in our favor. Obviously, we didn't cross over the line, but I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of positives that we can take out from this game, and we can reassess what we could have done better, and hopefully implement the right strategies in terms of where we want to execute our skills going forward in the next two matches remaining in the series.
Do you feel as though the Sri Lankan batsmen were allowed a few runs too many from your assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I think it took us a little bit longer to adapt, especially at the start of everything. I do think that we were we weren't as good as they were in terms of limiting the amount of extras that we gave, and I think 21 runs in extras is a lot, but hopefully we can rectify it. Maybe it's a bit of rustiness, not to make excuses for the bowling display, but I think we can be a lot better. We have standards and expectations of ourselves, and I know the boys are going to do really well come in the remaining two matches in terms of implementing and rectifying our mistakes.
What's going to be vital in terms of rectifying those mistakes going forward?
Yeah, obviously we probably sit with Gobes, our video analyst, and obviously assess maybe the lines and lengths that we did bowl. Obviously show a little bit more control in terms of limiting the amount of extras in terms of wides and no balls from there on in. That is something we can control, and yeah, just getting the fields right for the lengths and lines that we are going to bowl. So I think a lot of boys had a bit of reflection last night, which is good because we're showing growth and maturity and wanting to learn. It's just about implementing that and executing that come into the game situation.
Aidan was speaking about concentration levels and the heat and the humidity of the conditions. How much of that comes into play when you get into the thick of things and the game starts reaching a crescendo?
Yeah, it is obviously really hot and humid here. Fortunately enough, it wasn't as hot as we were yesterday, but the humidity played a large factor, and Aidan's 100% right. I think you fatigue a lot quicker here, and sometimes having that extra bit of energy helps you put things in perspective and think more clearly. So it's important that we manage ourselves in terms of the fluids and the things we eat during on the field, especially during those 50 overs. And hopefully, from the fitness team, they've done an exceptional job, and I thought we were really good yesterday into managing guys' hydration and fitness levels and energy levels throughout the game. So full credit to them, and hopefully we can keep building on that to give us more clarity when those crunch times do come about.
How do you feel about your own performance? You bowled exceptionally well.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the way the ball came out. Obviously not ideal in the outcome of the game, but hopefully I can keep building and hopefully aid the team towards a winning result coming in these next two matches. But I think as a collective, we're showing good signs of growth, and I think it's really important. Obviously, like I said, the result is what often inspires people, but I think there's a process to everything, and hopefully we can get back to winning ways come the second game and third game in the series.
There's been a lot that's been said about the role of the spin bowler in this series and how the team is not probably going to lean on its seam attack as much as it usually would. How vital is that, and do you feel as though there's enough spinners in the team?
Yeah, I think spin is generally the way to go in the subcontinent, but take nothing away. I think the seamers can still do a job, and we showed that in the second and third spells yesterday. They came on. I thought they bowled really, really well at the depth in executing the Yorkers and things like that yesterday. But I do feel like Aidan did a remarkable job. Take nothing away. I mean, a guy that's not deemed as a frontline spinner, he did a really, really good job. Hopefully we can utilize that skill going forward. 3 spinners in the team, yeah, it's 30 overs, and you've got your seamers. So if we do have the flexibility of another one, wouldn't be a bad thing. But I think right now we're in a good space with regards to the array of bowlers that we do have, and we just need to utilize them as best as we can for the given conditions.
Do you feel that the team is under pressure with points towards the World Cup?
It's a give and take situation. I think it depends on how you look at it. Whilst we are fighting for championship points or World Cup points, if you want to call it, the qualification points, I think there's more growth that's happening, which is important. But we do have to get back to winning ways to make sure that we qualify, which is important. But each step at a time, each game at a time. And I think if we do come over the line in terms of getting those points eventually, which I'm sure we will, it's important that we've taken the learnings from our losses that we've come through along the journey.
And obviously there's a very short turnaround time between today and tomorrow, just one day in between the first and the second fixtures. How do you guys prepare yourselves? There's been a lot of rain today, so obviously no practice is possible. So what do you do in that stead to be able to prepare for another day?
Yeah, I think managing your body is so crucial today. To play back-to-back 50-over games in 3 days, it's really hard on the bodies. But there is massages, there is physio, and our medical team is very, very, very good with managing the players and making sure that we have fresh energies for the game, because it's crucial in terms of what you deliver on the field to be mentally fresh and physically fresh. So I think the boys will be feet up today. Obviously, we'll have our chats in terms of our bowlers and batters meetings to see where we can do better. But be mentally recharged come tomorrow and fresh in the morning is as good as having a training session today.
And final question, is the confidence still up? How's the team feeling right now?
Yeah, I think, obviously we were disappointed last night. Naturally, we want to win all the time and we don't like losing. But, I still think the morale is high in the team. To come so close, it just means you just got to take one more step over the line and you're pretty much there. But yeah, I think the boys are still very confident and on a high in terms of our skill and, trying to execute. So come tomorrow, hopefully we put that into implementation and come over the finishing line rather than obviously losing like we did last night.
Sorry, one last question. The match ended extremely late yesterday. The team only arrived back at the hotel just after midnight. How do you maintain your energy levels throughout an entire match, and also like with the stop starts, how does one maintain the concentration with everything that was happening, particularly in yesterday's game?
Yeah, obviously, I think I only got to bed at 1:30 this morning. By the time the adrenaline kicked out and all that stuff, and the melatonin kicked in from the body. But yeah, I think it's very important that we get enough sleep and rest and feet up during the day. I think we had a chat with Doc Hash this morning about it, and he says try get your 9 hours of sleep throughout the day and make sure you're sleeping at night. But yeah, I think the boys are professional enough and mature enough to manage themselves really well. In terms of switching off and switching on, I think a lot of us have played enough cricket to know when to switch on and switch off during games, especially with the stop starts. It can be disruptive, but I think that's where you manage your energies really well, where you relax and then you go back onto the field and switch on again. We can see it as a negative, but we can also use it as a positive to be able to have the time to just relax and then switch on again and manage ourselves really well during that time.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Perfect.